Hello, friends. Happy Monday. I hope you are having a really nice day. This is Jillian Leslie. I'm founder of If You See the Milo Tree, right there, Milo Tree, and host of the Blogger Genius podcast. I also created a site called Catch My Party, which is the largest party ideas site on the web. I'm also a business coach, and in fact, I'll tell you about that right now, and a business translator. I take what's working in online business and I break it down so you can then use it in your own business. Hi, people who have joined. Let's see, if you leave a comment, in fact, I need to put a link, hold on, to my most recent podcast episode that I'm going to talk about. So today, I am later than I normally would be. Always inspiring. Oh, thank you. Okay, I have to share my good news. I am immunocompromised. I have an autoimmune disease and I have to take a drug that suppresses my immune system. So COVID has been very scary for me because of my sluggish immune system. And today I was able to get my first vaccination. So my arm is sore, but I feel really good, like there is a possible end in sight for this, not just for me, but for everybody. The fact that this is happening is just so exciting. And personally, it makes me feel less vulnerable in the world. So I have to say that for me, this has been a really positive day because I feel like this time has been so up and down. And I do see an end in sight for all of us. So I just wanted to put that out there that the vaccine is coming and it's real. And hopefully you get a sore arm soon too. Okay, the next thing I wanted to say is I have been incredibly busy. So if you follow me on Instagram, I have made a challenge for myself, which is to create Instagram stories every day for 30 days because I want to create that as a habit. And I've been very hit or miss. I like hanging out in my Facebook group and I have a harder time digging in on Instagram. I don't know if any of you have felt this way. So I challenged myself to go live. And so what I did was I had bought for Christmas my daughter one of those little light up boards where you can put the letters on it, almost like a movie marquee. And I've been putting little sayings on this. And for my family, just for my daughter and my husband, just to kind of inspire us during Christmas. And my daughter said to me, she really liked waking up in the morning and seeing a new saying. And so I decided that I would share that in my Instagram story every day. So if you want to see what my inspiration for the day is, follow me. It's Milo Tree app. So at Milo Tree app, you'll find it on Instagram. And I'd love you to come along on this journey with me. And what I'm really working on are habits. I'm a big believer in that, in building good habits. So the weird part is when I know I have this, I change up the saying every day anyway. And I drink my coffee in my chair, and then I have to walk by the sign to go upstairs to start my work. So what I do is now it's a habit. I sit down in front of the sign and I share it. And in the beginning, like maybe 2 weeks ago, I was really awkward. It felt really weird. I felt like who would care about this? But over time, it's gotten so much more comfortable. And it shows that you just kind of have to do stuff. And it feels weird in the beginning. And then over time, you get better at it and better at it and better at it. And this is like when you're a blogger and you go back. For me, this is totally true. I go back and I look at my early photographs and I cringe. And I can't believe at some point I thought those were good photographs. But it shows your progress. So I'm seeing my own progress with Instagram stories. And it's getting easier. So for today, I wrote, make connections. And the reason I wrote that is because tomorrow, David and I, my husband and partner, we do a coaching group for 6 weeks. It's really special. It's really personal. We show up live on Zoom twice a week for 6 weeks. We do workshop sessions. We do Q&A sessions, and we have a private Facebook group. And it's a small group. of people. And David and I roll up our sleeves and we really dig in and make relationships with the people in the group. And I convinced him we did it 3 times last year, but David and I are building other products out like Milo Tree. So we don't have as much time, but I convinced him to do it 1 time this year and to do it at the beginning of the year to help bloggers really get started in 2021, because it's such a weird time that I feel like it's a way to gain control in a time when so much is out of control. And because I've been like a shut-in for now almost a year, I said to David, please, can we do a group? Oh, thank you. We do a group because I want to show up with other people. You know, it's my community. It's a way for me to connect. And because I can't connect with friends right now and I can't connect with family, I just wanted to do this. So he said yes. So we're starting tomorrow at noon Central Time. By the way, if you are interested, let's see if I have a banner for it. Yes, I do. Here it is, milotree.com/group, and you can learn all about it. It's really neat. So today, though, the day before usually, I get on the phone with a bunch of people who are thinking about joining the group. And I do what's called a blog personality test. Like, my daughter loves personality tests. I do too. I am an Enneagram 6. I am an INFJ. Is that right, Lainey? INFJ? Anyway, I love personality tests. And so I thought, well, I would offer a blog personality test where David and I look at your blog, and we look at the technical stuff like your site speed and things like that. And we also, though, look at kind of how it works and whether it makes sense. And I go through and I really give you some pointers and thoughts how to think about your blog. So I have been on the phone today with a bunch of different bloggers, connecting with them, hearing about their businesses, hearing about their dreams, their hopes. The big takeaway that I have found is, again, we do not like this. We resist this, which is finding a niche, finding a lane, and going deep rather than going broad. I've had this conversation now with many bloggers, how hard it is to kind of kill our babies, meaning I want to be a lifestyle blogger and I want to blog about travel and I want to blog about food and I want to blog about parenting. And I keep saying, where is your traffic coming from? Where are people responding to you? Go that way. Anyway, if you are thinking or interested in joining our group, please go to milotree.com/group to learn about it. It starts tomorrow. Now, we do it live on Zoom. We meet on Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays are workshop sessions. Fridays are Q&A sessions, but we have a private Facebook group for connection, for asking questions. Also, I put the recordings of the live videos in there so you do not have to show up live. And there is homework, not a lot, but it helps keep you moving forward. So we teach something and then I'm like, go do it and see. And then I give you feedback. You hand it in to me and I give you feedback to go, what about this? Or, oh, this is great, or whatever. So it's a really cool experience because you get to grow your business in real time. And then with the end of it, you have a direction and you know what these building blocks are for and how it all fits together. Because people will say things like, grow your list. And for the longest time, I had no idea why I was growing my list. And now I will explain why you want to grow your list and how it fits into the whole process, the whole idea of business building. That's what I want to show you. So here's the thing. This is my next thing, Milo Tree Meet. If you want to get on a call with me, this is to sign up for a time on my calendar. So it's 4:15 my time right now. And I have been talking to bloggers like all day. And I have some slots open until 11 tonight. In fact, somebody just signed up for the 9:30 slot. And I'll talk to you for half an hour. And I will go over with you what I think you're doing really, really well and where I think you might think about things differently and give you some ideas and tell you how the group can help you so that you can really connect with me and hear how we think about building businesses so that you can, again, take it into your business and see if it works. So go to here, milotree.com/meet if you want to sign up for a time, because I'm free. Like, as soon as I get off of this call, I have some work to do, but I would love to talk to you. Okay. The thing too I wanted to talk about was my last podcast episode. if you have not listened, I recommend you do, especially because what I have noticed is that Pinterest, people are really upset. Pinterest is not sending as much traffic to our blogs as Pinterest used to. And that is very disconcerting. And lots of people are really angry at Pinterest. Now remember, Pinterest doesn't hate you. It's not alive. It's just an algorithm. And they are trying to grow their business in new ways that helps them. And it might not be as aligned with content creators like it used to be. And that's just a truth. I mean, remember Facebook used to drive everybody so much traffic, and then Facebook turned down that spigot. So again, we should assume that, Facebook will kind of do this too. Oh, wait. Oh, I see people. Hi, Christine. Hello there. Okay. What are you? You're an ENFJ. I'd have to think about that. Do you know what your Enneagram is? So I lean more into Enneagram than Myers-Briggs, and I'm an Enneagram 6, which is a trooper. I'm a trooper, which means I like to get behind people and really support them. So it kind of fits. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So people are recognizing that Pinterest is not like the easiest way. I mean, it still probably is your number one traffic driver. But what I've noticed is when I ask in my Facebook group, what are you really trying to learn in 2021? The biggest answer I get is SEO, which is, of course, wait, Chris Ann, what are you choosing between on Enneagram? Anyway, SEO is like top of mind for lots of people. And the thing about SEO is you have to plant seeds. You have to make good decisions in the beginning and plant these seeds because it takes a while for your blog to get found in Google and for you to have authority. But it is so worth starting now, really thinking about SEO when you are creating content. In my most recent podcast, if you have not listened to it, I put a link here. I interviewed the CEO of Yoast. Yoast is the WordPress plugin. If you have a WordPress blog, I highly recommend you install Yoast. There's a free version. You don't have to pay for it, but it helps you think about optimizing that post for SEO. And it even gives you like a green light or an orange light or a red light to tell you how well you're doing in that post. So this woman who is the CEO, Marieke, from the Netherlands, got on a call with me and we started talking about SEO. And she had so much good information that I wanted to share with you. And the first thing I want to share is SEO is not scary. It's not super technical. It's really just about making smart choices. And so I want to share some of the highlights from my conversation with Marieke. And the first one is, and this is something that I have been talking about, as I told you, with all these people today who are hopefully going to join our group, which is the importance of niching down. I told you I get all of this pushback because somebody says I'm a lifestyle blogger, and I say, I know, but lifestyle isn't a niche. Google will like you more if you are an expert at something. So be thinking about that. And Marieke said the exact same thing. The more you can have authority in one topic, the better. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't attack that topic from a variety of angles and go really deep and granular in that topic, but the more focused you are, the better. So that is my first piece of advice. I teach that, and I think it's really valuable. In this conversation I had today with a couple bloggers, back when blogging, maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when the people started their blogs, they were like magazines. Very similar, especially if you were a lifestyle blogger and you blogged about, again, all these topics, travel and parenting and food and who knows. And it was very much like, oh, there are these cool articles and I'm going to read it. And today, really, like if you think about it, how are magazines doing today? Not that well. There are fewer and fewer of them on the newsstand. I only look at them if I'm waiting in line at the checkout, the grocery store, but I don't even do that anymore because I go to self-checkout. So So magazine blogs don't really work anymore. What works is I'm Jillian and I'm an expert on something. So let's say business building, and you are watching this video because you're hoping to get information about building your business. So you then associate me, Jillian, with this, and I dig deep and I attack this from a whole host of angles. So we're talking SEO today, and then we'll be talking about Pinterest, and then we'll be talking about whatever, but it's all about, I want to help you build your blog and turn it into a profitable business. And while I might share about my daughter or my life here in Austin, the truth is I have one mission and I stick to it. And then Google will reward me for that. And you, hopefully then, I get a tiny bit of mind share that when you think business building, you might think Jillian Leslie, Blogger Genius podcast, Milo Tree, all of those things. That's why it's so valuable. Here, hold on. I need to tell my husband David, I'm doing a Facebook Live. Okay, I'm back. So Marieke was talking very much about niching down. And then the other thing that I have been talking about with people on my coaching calls today is writing something people want to read. I know that seems so obvious, but that is the truth. And how do you know if this is something people want to read? And this is where keyword research comes in. You want to put your content in front of people already searching for it. You don't want to create a whole market. You know, it's very difficult for people to create products that we don't understand, because then they have to educate you about that product in order to sell it, versus you know what that product is, or you know there's already a market demand for it and you just put yourself in front of it. And that, it's kind of like seasonality. So during Christmas, we do Christmas posts. And why do we do that? Because people are already in the Christmas mindset. We know they're going to be baking Christmas cookies. We know they're going to be decorating their trees. So if I can come up with Christmas cookies or Christmas decorations, I know there's already a built-in market for it. Very much the same way to think about your content. You want to find those keywords that you can rank for. So these are not super broad keywords. These are called long tail keywords. But you want to find where people are already searching and create that content. So that is where you want to create something that people want to read, where there's already an audience for it. And this is, again, where keyword research comes in. And we talk about keyword research in our coaching group because it's really valuable. Again, back when we made magazine blogs, we kind of didn't do that. It was much more like, what do I want to blog about today? And I was talking to some bloggers today who were still kind of in that mindset. And I was saying, no, it's really doing this research up front, because you don't want to waste this time or waste this content. You want to make sure this content is going to build your business. And this is called content marketing, meaning that content is going to get eyeballs on it and it's going to provide something for you, whether that be an email sign up or whether that be a product sale or something. Like, it's about connecting the dots. It's not just about like waking up in the morning and going, I got to put up a blog post. That's not, you're not going far enough in that journey. Okay. So the other thing that I talked about with Marieke is you want to optimize your content for the screen. So people are not, you know, it's like I don't read books anymore. Yesterday, our power went out. We had a snowstorm in Austin and we're totally unprepared for snowstorms. So literally everybody's power got knocked out, including ours. And all of a sudden we're like in the dark and we had no heat. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I don't have any books. Like, I read I guess my Kindle had a little bit of juice, but like I read on my phone, I read on my laptop, I read on my Kindle. Like, I was so stuck. It was really interesting to see how that, like, reality, you know, how much our lives have shifted and how dependent we are on electricity. But anyway, how do you optimize your content for the screen? Because people aren't reading books anymore. And Marieke and I talk about that. People want to skim. They want to read the first sentence of every paragraph. They want it easy. I was talking to Casey Markey, who also I did a podcast episode with, who's an SEO expert. So we're going to have two SEO experts on. And Casey said, you want to write for, I love this, toddlers and drunk people, meaning your content needs to be able to be consumed and understood by toddlers and drunk people, and that it needs to be super clear. But you need to write for your audience, and you also need to write for Google and figure out how to write for both of those audiences, but you want it to be skimmable and easy. So think about that when writing content. And then 3 other things we talked about. 1 is your content hierarchy. You don't want to, so I say go be in a niche, and you write, let's say, 2 posts about your niche. However, you don't want to compete with yourself in Google, like Google doesn't know which post to show. So what you do is you create like an internal hierarchy of content. So your most, let's say your biggest content, and we're going to call this cornerstone content, like the biggest umbrella piece of content sits here. And then you're going to create content off of that. Let's say it's a DIY and it uses styrofoam and it is for Christmas. Well, I might have so I might have a post where I do a roundup of all of my Christmas crafts. And that sits here. And then I do this new Christmas craft with styrofoam, and I link this craft to this post. And then I have other crafts, Christmas crafts, and I link them all to this kind of umbrella post. And then I have a post about styrofoam, how to work with styrofoam. And I link that styrofoam post to the Christmas craft that is using styrofoam. And if you think about it, it becomes this hierarchy. So you're telling Google, oh, here's the most important content, which is the Christmas craft post. And then these are the Christmas crafts, and they're individual. So you've got paper craft, you've got styrofoam craft, and you've got clay crafts and all this. And then maybe you have another post of styrofoam, styrofoam, and talking about that, and so you build out your content that way. So you're not competing with yourself. So there's, again, a structure behind it. So that I wanted to talk about. And then one last thing. This is really important, and it is called structured data. You're like, oh no, what is that? Well, anybody who's a food blogger understands structured data. It is where you put your recipes in a recipe plugin. So almost every food blogger knows if they do recipes, they need a recipe plugin. And the recipe plugin marks, you see it as a box where the recipe is, and it'll say things like cook time and ingredients and directions. That box is telling Google, this is a recipe, and these are the directions, and these are the ingredients, and this is the cook time, and all of that. It's feeding it directly to Google because it has certain markings around it that you're not seeing, that Google understands. And now you want to add structured data to as many pieces of content as you can. If you use Yoast and you use the Gutenberg editor, you will see blocks that Yoast has created for you. And there's like a how-to block. And it's just like a recipe plugin. And I recommend you use this, pull this block into your post and put your directions into this block because it has structured data in it. It tells Google exactly what this is. Another one of these structured data blocks that Yoast has is one for FAQs, right? So Google wants you to add FAQs, frequently asked questions, into your blog posts. So maybe you have a question about styrofoam and it's like, how do I cut styrofoam, right? So that could be a great FAQ. So you use the Yoast SEO, the Yoast Gutenberg block, and you put how do I cut styrofoam, and then you answer the question. And by using that block, it tells Google, oh, this is a question, because if you see this on Google, somebody puts in the search term how to cut styrofoam, it might just pick that little snippet up and show it. And that way it's not buried in your post. It's like, oh, here is the answer to this question. So do explore these Yoast blocks in Gutenberg that are structured data, because you have like a direct line to Google to say, this is exactly what this content is. I think there are others where you can have a table of contents. So the more you can make your content super easy to understand, it will make it super easy for Google to understand. And that's how you show up in search. And that's how that encourages people to link to your content, which of course is very important for Google, because links, the more links you have to your content, the more people are voting and saying this is good content, and the more Google takes that into account. So does anybody have any questions that I can answer? I'm wrapping up. SEO is really important. SEO is totally doable. You can 80-20 it, meaning you don't have to spend a ton of time. There are people who spend a ton of time optimizing SEO. You don't have to, but you do have to do these fundamental things like keyword research. Remember, make content that people are already searching for, serve it up well for Google, write for a toddler, so that I usually say like a third grader, but make sure that people can understand what you're writing, write it clearly, write it concisely, and answer questions in your content. So these are kind of my tips. Also, if you want to, so we do stuff like this. This is the kind of stuff we teach. Tomorrow, we are showing up live at 12 o'clock Central Time, and we are doing our first session in our coaching group, and it is going to be all about finding your special sauce. Remember, niching down, figuring out what problem you are solving for your audience and how you are an expert at that. So if that seems interesting to you, go to, wait, I'm gonna put up, I love this. Go to MiloTree/group to learn about the group and sign up, because we're starting tomorrow, and it's a really special thing. And I don't know, I feel like right now, I don't know about you, but like I really need community. It really it feeds my soul. So even today, I've been on all these calls, and I actually really like it. Makes me really happy. And if you want to get on a call with me tonight, so it's 4:35 my time, I think there are spots available for the rest of the night. I will be doing these until 11 p.m. past my bedtime. Please go to milotree.com meet, and we can meet, and I can really give you an honest assessment of your blog, what you're doing well, and where ideas I have for making it even better. How about that? And I think that you would get a lot out of it, and I'd get to hang out and talk to you. All right, that's what I wanted to say. I hope you have a great week. I want you to stay safe, and I will be checking in later. If you have any questions about SEO or whatever, just message me or leave a comment under this video. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.